Next up, we have Lauren Newby, Senior Director, Global Partnerships at Tackle, and Savio Rodriguez, the VP of Ecosystem Labs, Developer Advocacy, and Red Hat Marketplace for IBM Worldwide Ecosystems. They will lead a fireside chat, their journey to digital sales in a century-young company. Over to you, Lauren.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jillian. Hi, everyone who was able to dial in today and join us. It's great to have you all here. I'm joining you from Toronto, Canada, and actually Savio is as well. So really excited to see all of you from wherever you're calling in and dialing in from. So yeah, like Jillian said, we're going to jump in and have a really great conversation with Savio around what Red Hat Marketplace and IBM are doing in this digital sales that we're kind of all going through. So again, I manage our cloud partnerships here at Tackle, and I guess Savio, I'll pass it over to you if you wanted to tell us a little bit about your role at Red Hat Marketplace and maybe about Red Hat Marketplace itself as well.
Sure. And Lauren, thanks for having time for me and to hear a little bit about Red Hat Marketplace. So Savio Rodriguez, based here in Toronto, Canada. I lead our ecosystems labs team, our IBM developer advocacy team, and Red Hat Marketplace, RHM for short. So RHM is a open hybrid marketplace for IBM and Red Hat ecosystem. It's a marketplace operated by IBM. So let me tell you a little bit about Red Hat Marketplace by describing a real client problem. So let's say you're building a modern application today. Right? So gone are the days where an entire application was running in your data center. You're going to have services on premises. You're going to have services on AWS, on Azure, or IBM Cloud. And let's pretend you need to protect those services, so you'll need an API gateway. Now, IBM API Connect is a leader in this space. And yes, as one of the products that I used to lead in the past, I am impartial on that statement. But so this doesn't come across as a IBM API Connect commercial. Let's imagine that you selected Kong's API gateway. Okay, so you would need to buy Kong from the AWS marketplace to protect your AWS workload. You'd need to buy Kong from, for instance, the Azure marketplace to protect your workload on Azure, and then you probably go buy directly from Kong to protect your on-prem usage. So you're going to have 3 separate licenses for Kong negotiated separately. 2 of those licenses are purchased from 2 separate hyperscaler marketplaces that are solely focused on deploying onto the hyperscaler of question there, right? You can't span your licenses across those 3 places. You can't share API calls across AWS, Azure, and on-prem, right? That seems difficult. Now imagine that you can buy from a open and hybrid marketplace and deploy on any cloud, on any hyperscaler or on-prem. So you get centralized purchasing with hybrid deployment. So now you have one license and you can share your API calls across AWS, Azure, on-prem, IBM Cloud. Isn't that much simpler and more efficient for buyers? If you say yes, that's exactly why we built Red Hat Marketplace, to be the open and hybrid enterprise marketplace for centralized purchasing, but hybrid deployment with the governance that enterprises depend on.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That really kind of helps paint the picture. And actually, just as you were going through that, some of my experience from being in an ISV, coming from an ISV and coming to Tackle and having experienced some of those challenges with a lot of our teams going through those hurdles, really helps paint the picture for me. So hopefully for everyone here, that really helped as well. I think that, Tackle, we of course have customers across all of the different hyperscalers and of course Red Hat Marketplace as well. So this is something that we do often hear that, how do we manage across the different hyperscalers and manage our partnerships and manage our software? So yeah, thank you for that. So I guess, so that really helps paint the picture, Savio. So what, I think you kind of alluded to it, but I guess what really prompted Red Hat, IBM to, take that step to actually move into digital sales and into digital marketplaces? What really made that the right decision for Red Hat?
So about 2.5 years ago, Red Hat Marketplace, which is operated by IBM, it began as a trusted source for Red Hat OpenShift based operator content, right? So it was intended for clients to go to find content for their growing OpenShift platform, right? That's where we started. And over the last 2.5 years, we've learned that clients absolutely have OpenShift, but they also have non-OpenShift workloads. So we've grown from the OpenShift operator focus to really being an open and hybrid enterprise marketplace for centralized purchasing and hybrid deployment with enterprise governance. So now, of course, we support OpenShift certified content, right? Absolutely. But we also support SaaS offerings, and we also support RHEL-based content. So virtually any enterprise software that you can think of that you're running today fits into this much broader definition of what you can buy from the RHM ecosystem. And we want to do that because as we get you into the ecosystem, it's simpler for our clients and it's simpler for our ISV partners to ensure that they can transact the entirety of the software that they're using versus just a small portion.
That makes a ton of sense. Again, this and I think this is part of where the Red Hat marketplace, operated by IBM, and Tackle partnership really became clear in those early days as we started to connect and see that value proposition that really crosses, that really helps all of the ISVs that are going through these same struggles right now, right? You're
Absolutely.
figuring what tools to use, where to buy them, and the where to buy them, even that's pretty new for a lot of folks. So I think it's a refreshing take on that for sure. So I guess again, that flexibility being huge. I'm curious from, we hear a lot from our customers. We've got many ISVs who have listed on Red Hat Marketplace since we announced our partnership at the end of last year. So I'm curious, what are you hearing from the IBM and Red Hat customers around digital procurement? Knowing that this is something a couple of years ago that decided to take that step into marketplaces. Why do your customers want to buy through a cloud marketplace like Red Hat Marketplace?
Great question. So the things that we've been hearing that the clients really like is they love having the direct negotiations with ISVs or with ISV resellers and partners through the RHM private offer process. And that might sound a little surprising, right? Because when people hear marketplaces, they think completely digital transactions, buyer using a digital storefront. That's it. And that does occur, but the majority actually is much more of an interaction between someone from procurement and someone from an ISV sales force or a channel partner sales force, negotiating, discussing, understanding value, and then transacting that purchase on a marketplace, whether it's RHM, AWS, and so forth, right? So that focus on digital procurement is incredibly important. And you have full control of that process between the client and the ISV or the ISV channel, right? There's no IBM getting involved or confusing that in any shape or fashion. Now, the bigger thing we've heard from clients is they love the fact that they can buy centrally and deploy on any platform of their choice. And in many cases, we have clients that are buying through RHM and they're deploying the ISV software on AWS or on Azure. And when they do that, they're able to burn down their committed spend commitments on AWS, for instance, for the infrastructure that's sitting underneath their ISV software. So it's getting the best of both worlds where they can buy centrally, but also when they deploy to those hyperscalers, they're able to burn down commitments that they've already made to those hyperscalers. And then the other thing that we've heard is that clients are very pleasantly surprised, I'll say, by the built-in licensing and usage tracking that's the dashboards that are part of RHM. And so you can track your usage and your licenses across clouds, across on-prem. And that's very different than some of the hyperscalers where you can do that limited to their hyperscaler environment, right? And as we talked about, look, there is no single application that is tied to one deployment area, whether it's on-prem or cloud A or cloud B or cloud C. It's deployment across multi-clouds. And being able to see what licenses do I own and how are they being deployed across my various clouds? That level of governance is something every enterprise needs, and you get that built in with RHM.
Yeah, I think that's on that last point, that's something that when I got to kind of get in and have a look at that, again, coming from the world of, managing the teams across different, buying different tools across the ISV landscape, understanding where are these actually being deployed and understanding what business units are actually using them. And then from a governance and, really what it comes down to is having that ability to report on that and actually feel like you have that full picture, where I think the digital marketplaces like Red Hat Marketplace are really taking us to that next level of visibility. So I love that. And I love the call out as well as helping burn down that usage, across the different clouds too. I think many of us realize it's a multi-cloud world out there, and whatever we can all do, tackle Red Hat Marketplace to help our customers kind of achieve their goals. I think that that's a great call it that I hadn't really thought of from that perspective. Awesome. So maybe a bit of a left turn here. So, well, maybe not left turn, a pivot, I'll say. So I guess when I think of Red Hat Marketplace and IBM and being a century young company as we've labeled this, I think of really large enterprises. IBM itself being a very large enterprise, and the types of customers that you have tend to be quite large. So I would love to, I know you and I have had a few discussions and some of the team at Red Hat Marketplace and IBM around startups, and I'm really curious what your take is, and looking at the opportunity for startups to leverage something like Red Hat and the Red Hat Marketplace really in their go-to-market strategy.
Great. I'll adjust one of the comments you just made here, Lauren. So
Sure.
IBM, century young company, and absolutely we have some of the largest customers on the planet, absolutely. Yeah. But a significant portion of our go-to-market is actually focused on the rest of the market, right? So the mid-market and early maturity companies, and so we reach across that spectrum. And one of the things that I was learning a little bit about recently was Tackle's startup package, which I think is phenomenal in terms of helping startups list their offerings in various marketplaces while they're still growing. And to that point, IBM, we offer some of the same types of benefits for startups, but we also do that for, frankly, any ISV. And what we're doing here is we're providing technical assistance when you want to build with IBM technology. So for instance, if you want to use Watson AI to dramatically improve the customer service experience while reducing your costs, you're going to embed Watson AI into your software or your SaaS. And we're here to help you with the technical resources to make that integration happen. And then also on the other end with the go-to-market to help you from promoting your solution to IBM clients, getting assistance from IBM sellers to co-sell your solution, and also they get paid on co-selling your solution, which is always great. So that we're helping startups and ISVs, bring their offerings to a broader market than they could themselves.
I love that. I think I'm going to have to come back to that co-selling piece in a minute before I lose my train of thought. But I think, yeah, that partnership and totally, on the variety of customers that IBM and Red Hat really have, I think that's a good point of clarification. And I'm excited about the different things that we've been talking around how we can help startups. Because I'm sure a lot of the folks who are attending today are part of really that whole subset of startups through mid-market to the large enterprise. So excited what we can do together for them. Now, another part of our partnership that I find really exciting is not only working together to help ISVs really scale in the Red Hat Marketplace, but also looking a little bit actually at the IBM side of the business and kind of almost the practice what you preach. So what is, the IBM strategy around listing on hyperscaler marketplaces? And maybe you can share a little bit about why it's important for IBM and Red Hat customers and really that whole overall strategy of leveraging the hyperscaler marketplaces for IBM.
Absolutely. Look, IBM is also a ISV, right? And like all other software vendors, we want to lower the barrier to entry for our clients to find, to try, to purchase, and to use our software. So this means listing our software in hyperscaler marketplaces. So when a client of AWS is looking for the leading API management solution, they're going to find IBM API Connect, right? Absolutely. That's going to be a win for IBM. That's going to win for AWS. Now, we know, as I shared before, that there is going to be a set of clients that face the problem of buying from multiple marketplaces, right? And for them, the notion of centralized purchasing with hybrid deployment and the governance that enterprises need is absolutely going to be important. And so we want to ensure that we're not looking at this world in a very religious fashion and saying this is the only thing that clients are going to do. We understand that clients do a variety of activities in terms of how they acquire software, how they use software, some of the committed spend programs their companies have entered into. We want to ensure that we are able to offer our clients the choice, not just for our ISVs, but also that's how we're going to market.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I think, again, making it as easy as possible for ISVs. And I think the fact that, we both are in these organizations that are also, ISVs ourselves, and understanding the pains that our customers need to go through, or the hurdles maybe that they are trying to navigate as we're all figuring out, what this digital marketplace world really looks like for us and for our customers. So I think that's a really great point. So I know you kind of mentioned co-sell a little bit earlier, and tackle. Our customers come to us looking for support in getting listed in marketplaces, absolutely. But really a big part of it, and I think really this whole cloud go-to-market experience that we're hosting here is, it's more than listing, right? It's how can these hyperscalers and these cloud marketplaces really help, drive your go-to-market strategy and be a core pillar of that go-to-market strategy for an ISV to really be successful. So, on that note, I guess, Red Hat Marketplace, one of the newer marketplaces to come to market. I feel like I'm saying market a lot, but that can have a lot of advantages as well. Having seen what's been happening in the market, so I'm curious, around what sets Red Hat Marketplace apart. Why would buyers and sellers want to work with Red Hat Marketplace?
There's a variety of reasons. One I'm going to touch on first here is, as one of the leading companies on the planet for AI and hybrid cloud, when we work with an ISV, we're there to help in terms of go-to-market, but we also have technology that can make the ISV's offering that much better and more cost-effective. So I gave you the example of improving customer service by embedding IBM technology in an ISV offering. That is something that frankly really does differentiate the IBM experience. Now, as you do that, you end up with an ISV offering that IBM is going to help co-sell. We're going to help promote. We're going to sell that with your sellers. And by the way, we're going to pay our sellers to help sell your product. And that helps grow the ecosystem. And let's be very honest, there's a portion of that which is IBM revenue, right? And so we want to keep driving that, of course. So that's one big difference for us. Then when we look at some of the other things that we're able to offer that some of the other marketplaces haven't, they didn't grow up this way, right? Because a lot of those marketplaces are so tied to the closed ecosystem of the hyperscaler, they haven't really thought about the hybrid environment. So centralized purchasing, hybrid deployment, that was in our DNA from day one, right? The centralized licensing and usage dashboards for governance across cloud deployments, that's in our DNA from day one. And then the co-sell, which I touched on at the beginning, but I would really focus the co-sell on the set of partners that utilize IBM technology. They're getting our co-sell benefit, but they're also getting the benefit of IBM's IP, which is market leading in the AI space and in the hybrid space.
Yeah, I think I think there's all of the hybrid piece is such a relevant point, and just like you say, you kind of grew up that way, and realistically, like, hybrid is becoming something that we're hearing so much more in the market. But actually, being able to provide that is really a huge benefit. Definitely, when we talk to ISVs, and we're kind of advising them around how to work with the different cloud marketplaces. Those co-sell programs and those kind of advantages are things that we really do try to highlight and ensure that they're aware of, not only that they exist, but also how to pull the right levers and how to make sure that you're working with the teams as they should be. And part of that is ensuring that on the ISV side, you also have the resources available and ready to co-sell and partner with those IBM sellers and kind of be at the ready. So I think that's a great call out. Awesome. I'm wondering, so this has been, I've actually learned a few new things here today. So thank you, Savio. I'm going to pop in and see if we've had any questions, but let me make sure I actually know how to do this properly. Think. All right. Well, I will put it out there if there. I know that Patrick has been kind enough to do a shout out here. If there are any questions, please do feel free to pop them into the chat. We do have a few more minutes, and I will say after this session, we do actually have a bit of free time. So I'll give it a minute or two, Savio, to see if anyone has any questions. But
okay,
TikTok here. Like I said, I'm definitely enjoying the view in your background there of actual clouds for our cloud go-to-market experience.
It's a nice sunny day here.
All right. Well, it looks like we don't have any questions right now. Definitely feel free, anyone who's listening or listening to this after the fact, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much, Savio. Like I said, I learned a lot. It was a great discussion. Hopefully everyone here I was able to learn as well. As I mentioned, so we did end a little bit early here. So there is a scheduled break after this session. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and check out the networking lounge and chat with the attendees. And you can actually earn some points on the leaderboard. So the experience will come back at 2:20 p.m. Eastern. So please enjoy the break and please do come back. There's a few great sessions left and of course, closing out this great day. So again, thank you so much, Savio, and we'll see everyone later.
Great. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.